good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube's Vision Debate. It's just myself and Gary today. How you doing, Gary?
All right.
Now, just so you guys know, we're not talking about Vision from fucking the MCU. We're talking Star Wars Vision, the saga which was brought out just a few days ago on Disney Plus. Basically, a list of anime shorts, all to do with Star Wars. Now we have a list of the films here in this little space next to us. So we're going to just quickly talk about them. So first of all, the first movie we had was called The Duel, but it was also known as The Ronin by some people, and it was basically about a guy who was studied in the dark side but didn't follow the rules of the Sith, who ended up saving a village from another Sith. It was mainly done in black and white, but all the lightsabers, all the lasers, all the explosions were in color. I'm not sure if you noticed that, Bossman, which was one of the cool things about it.
Well, it was like monochrome. Like the music was very. I don't know whether you noticed this. I don't know if you've ever watched this film, but very Ghost in the Shelley. Like the the sort of almost choir-esque, did and all that sort of stuff. It was very, which I was a huge fan of. I loved the art style, and I loved the story. Like because he has this basically what's the film now? Magnificent Seven vibe.
Yeah, for sure. The Kurosawa films, Seven Samurai and all of that shit. Yeah.
Where these like Imperial troops come to flaming heart, cause trouble on this small village, and then
steal their crops and stuff. I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, to us, I love the fact that when the troops came out of that the hangar, and all of a sudden, to us, I didn't even know it was in Japanese until. Because Star Wars can sometimes have foreign languages, but it was a language I actually recognized. Like, isn't this Japanese? Yes, it is. All right, I need to
change the audio.
On. So,
yeah.
So I thought this was a marvelous episode. I thought this was one of the better episodes. Actually, this is in my top 4 probably, if not top 3. This was a great, fantastic episode.
It was a good way to start.
I love the art style. I love the idea of the lightsaber umbrella thing that she was wielding. I love the idea. I love the idea of that he's this disgraced enemy, but he's actually kind of like a good guy. And but he's come to see this village, and it's which isn't really something that we've seen Sith before. We've not really seen the other side of when somebody from the Sith turns back to be good. Can they, how do they work through that?
He could be himself. He's just making his own code. Not purposely being an asshole. But I liked it for what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought this was really, really great.
Yeah, me too. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love his droid wearing that sort of Japanese hat, which was pretty cool. And I like the way that he told this one guy, I want by the time this pot boils, I want my droid to be repaired, because he had this plan overall. I like the fact that he had a whole bunch of kyber crystals, red ones that is, in his jacket. So he's been taking scalps. It was an excellent start to this saga, but unfortunately, it became kind of a trend in this saga. And I'll say what's unfortunate now, because most of these films are basically lightsaber duels, and Star Wars itself shouldn't be all about that. I wanted to see other elements of Star Wars, like what the Mandalorian has given us. The underground, maybe some, the underworld. Sorry, all of that. And we do get elements of that too, but it's still associated with Sith and fucking Jedis and shit like that. And maybe some space battles. We didn't get enough of that, if any of that. And that was what disappointed me about this whole all of these 9 movies that they were all pretty much following a similar pattern. But let's go. I like this one as well. This was one of my favorites. Not my favorite, but definitely one of my favorites. The next one was called Tatooine Rhapsody. I didn't like this one at all.
I didn't like this one either.
It was basically about a kid who managed to escape Order 66, a kid Jedi. So once again, we're dealing with Jedis again. But
this time it's in a rock band.
Yeah, well, his mate is I think it's the same. It's a Hutt, just like Jabba is, but he's a good guy Hutt, and he takes this kid on board. They end up in the rock band, but next Jabba wants this guy, so he sends Boba Fett to come after him. Boba Fett, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, I kept on. The main thing for me is that I kept on comparing this to Scott Pilgrim Saves the World, Versus the World, which is a lot better than this. Because the music's a lot better. The music in this, in that Tatooine Rhapsody, whatever you want to say about it is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible, mate. It's terrible. It's what the Japanese think is good music.
I mean, I'm trying to compare. I don't know about you, but what genre of music would you put it? I wouldn't even call it rock. I'd call it
shit. But I mean,
I'd call it like boy band crap, like maybe like I don't want to talk of Japanese music because I'm sure that it's good for whoever wants to, but I don't even think that this is Japanese music. It's just
Japanese do good music. Unfortunately, when it comes to their media, they always tend to choose, from my experience, from what I see, they tend to choose the shittest fucking music around. Whatever it may be. I mean, it could be. I think only maybe Devil May Cry did some good stuff. But a lot of the time they tonally get the music so fucking wrong. Even games like Metal Gear Solid, it had some good music in it. But my God, did they choose some of the wrong songs at certain times to try and tug on your emotional heartstrings. They just got it wrong so often. They always fuck up with the music, as far as I'm concerned, the Japanese do. But Tatooine Rhapsody was also a fuck up as well. This is one of the few out of the list. This is at the bottom of the end of the totem pole. I didn't like this one at all. Now, something which is a bit more centrist for me. I'm not going to give these ratings, by the way. I'll just say whether I like them or not. But something which is more centrist to me is the twins. This was a bit interesting. It was about dark side twins and the twin element, the element of twins, and have always played a major part in Star Wars, whether it be in Legacy or canon. In Legends or Legacy or whatever the fuck it's called now. But Twins was an okay story about this particular kyber crystal that holds great power. The girl twin wants the power of this kyber crystal. The boy twin is basically saying, look, we need to hold our shit down and study it a bit better and all of that. And they end up fighting over it. And they end up breaking the crystal in half, not in the proper half, but they end up fighting over it. It was just basically a glorified lightsaber duel. This kid kind of came across a bit like a Luke Skywalker to a degree. It reminded me of Jason and Jacinta Solo from the Star Wars books. Do you know about
that? The Solo books.
It was about these are no longer canon now because obviously Disney changed things. But before Disney bought Star Wars, there was all these books that were written after Return of the Jedi, and how Han and Leia had 3 kids. One of them, 2 of them were twins, and they were called Jason and Jacinta Solo. And when they became adults, Jason turned to the dark side, and so Jacinta, being the twin sister, was the only person capable of fighting him. And this kind of reminds me of that, with the sister being on the dark side and the brother being on the light side.
Okay, I wouldn't go far as to call this episode bad. It was just weird. So it's just like, what in the actual hell? Like when they put the crystals in the flames lightsabers, they all started like going out, shooting out longer, and they could like twist around each other's swords. It's just like that was just weird. And they're like, and he basically like knocks out his sister when he goes into hyperspace. It's like how could she even like How did his body not atrophy when he's outside the filming ship? I mean, there's a lot of like unanswered questions. I mean, I don't give me it's the Force. The Force doesn't make you magic. It just means that you're in touch with. So that was just a little bit more what the actual hell. I did prefer that art style to number 2 because I hate that art style.
Yeah, me too.
What.
Twins is okay. I'll put it in the middle ground for me regarding it.
Yeah.
Village Bride. This one, I didn't like this one at all. I knew it was going to be shit. So if I could just start with this,
I've got one word review for this.
Yeah.
It's this.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree with you.
As hell.
I knew it was going to be shit the moment it began because there's this guy carrying his fucking bride on his back. Oh, your feet can't get dirty and shit. And then I thought, oh my god, this is so methodical. I'm not feeling this. We only got 15 minutes for fuck's sake. You know, I was also thinking too. And then you got maybe a couple of Jedis in the background who are looking at what's going on, almost observing everything, like the Watcher and shit. It only kind of became good at the end, and by that time it was too late. When these Darksiders or people from the the Empire came along to possibly take away this bride, you know, or some shit like that. It was weird. Nevertheless, I didn't like it at all. I thought it was a bunch of bollocks.
It was boring. That's what it is. It's really boring.
But from one extreme to the other here, because we're coming across now to my opinion.
This was really good.
This was for me my favorite out of all the Star Wars films, and it kind of peaked with this movie. Like after this, like nothing else after this came close to this. But nevertheless, the Ninth Jedi was absolutely brilliant. It was just so fucking good. Like taking the lore in a different direction to a degree regarding the lightsaber. When you ignite it, it kind of indicates what you are. Because this girl hadn't found herself yet, the lightsaber never had a color. And that was pretty cool. You had all these, what we supposed to be Jedis. It's funny because, you know, when we find out they were Sith later on, they themselves didn't know who was a Sith among themselves. They all thought that they were the only Sith and everybody else was a Jedi. And then you had this one person coming along saying, there's dark side energy here and stuff like that. And this guy himself looked like a dark sider, but we found out he was a light sider. It was really, really good. I mean, I thought when that girl brought all those lightsabers after running away from that bounty hunter, and those lightsabers all lit up red, I thought, "Fuck me!" That was such a great moment in the film, and
that bit was great. And I love the idea that she has some skills with the saber, so she's not totally useless, and I love the fact that the main guy is this guy in a mask, and he's actually a good guy. Because usually, if you're in a mask in a Star Wars film, a Star Wars property, you're a bad guy. But this guy's a good guy. I love the idea. I love the fact that they basically carved their fucking shit through this flaming Sith guys. They just go. It's like, oh my god.
And one of the sabers started turning purple. The guy was he was that in between stage. He was a light side user who uses the dark force, the dark side. So his lightsaber from red became purple, which was pretty cool. And then eventually the Jedi kind of got him out of his stupidity or whatever, which was really nicely done. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It made me want to see more. But
the art style was really good as well.
The art style was really good, but the twist knowing that there was, instead of one Sith, there was 4 or 5 Siths, was such a good twist. You know what I mean? It was so well done. I applaud this little movie, and out of all 9 films, this was my favorite.
Yeah.
So on to the next one.
Okay,
go on.
It's all right. I was just gonna say, this next one.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the next one. We're on to TOB1 or 2B1. A bit like Obi-Wan to a degree.
I was like Toby, wasn't it?
No, I mean I don't know what it was until the inventor of this asteroid boy sort of Pinocchio sort of thing going on here. Started naming him. And I think he called him TOB1 or T2. Yeah, I think he called him TOB1. And it was a bit weird, like I said, it felt like Pinocchio to a degree, and you could tell by the art style it was definitely meant for kiddies, and
Yeah.
it was very
I mean,
unusual.
the thing is that well, that does answer the question: can robots become Jedi? And apparently, yes, they can. So so that was the interesting aspect. The non-interesting aspect was what you're talking about, which was that it does feel and look like Astro Boy.
Yeah, plenty, mate. Even the inventor itself looked like Astro Boy's inventor. You know what I mean? So there was a lot to it. God, you gotta leave my phone alone. My bird's chewing on my phone. Yeah, but yeah, this was okay. I mean, it wasn't the worst of the bunch, but it was by far
No.
near the best. I would after watching the Ninth Jedi and this coming next, it had big shoes to fill in my opinion, and it didn't do it as well. But I'll just say that about that. The next one, The Elder. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say I don't think that's its fault. So I think I thought that one was okay because again the story was good, but I just particularly wasn't a fan of that art style.
Well, the next one, The Elder, was an interesting one. This one was better, but once again, like everything was like by this time I was like fed up of Sith and Jedi's. Like I got so fed up of it. I wanted something else.
I'm going to sound like Cheeto now. This was yeah, I was getting a bit fed up with Jedi's and I love Jedi's, but the thing is, my policy is make it special.
Keep things fresh as well. But look, I don't blame. I don't. I feel a bit sorry for the developers because this could have come out earlier in the list of movies, and I would have probably appreciated it a little bit more. But like these were all developers, and they all had their own ideas, and unfortunately, all their ideas were Sith and Jedi. You know what I mean? And George Takei, by the way, I believe voices the Elder. Captain Sulu himself. And that's pretty cool, from Star Trek into Star Wars. But he's done Star Wars before. But this story wasn't too bad. It felt much. This felt while some of the other, even though this is made by anime and it's all Japanese, this actually felt Japanese. The Elder. It felt like samurai and stuff like that, and it was okay. A simple story. There's a Sith on this planet, a Jedi, and the Padawan comes along. They feel the dark side energy from this person, and they investigate. The Padawan gets cut down because he's out of his league with this guy, but then eventually the Jedi Master takes this guy out. It was all right for what it is,
It was all right. As I said, I would say I would call this a good episode. It was just like why is he a Sith? Why is he on this planet? There's loads of unanswered questions. But I did appreciate that the yellow eyes. He's the first one to have yellow eyes in this, so I did appreciate that.
Yeah, fair enough. Now this next one was quite popular with a lot of people who watch Visions, but for me, I was starting to get quite fatigued with this shit. Don't shit on me, girl. Don't shit on me. She loves my fucking phone.
I would do. I mean, but I think it's because this Lop and Octo wasn't really that interesting.
The only thing I found interesting was the fact that this rabbit girl and our furry. Anyone who's a furry would love this episode, but the rabbit girl was taken in by this father and daughter, but the daughter wanted to take the girl in. The father disapproved, but 7 years later, the daughter turned into a bitch. And whilst the father had become a good guy, and they like a Jedi sort of, and this whole planet has been taken over by the Empire, and the daughter is siding with them.
I think this had the same problem that Village Guild did, in that it was boring as fuck. Nothing happened in it quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's like. I mean, look. I mean, the art style was good.
Sorry, my bird just bloody easy set off my phone. Okay, sorry. Okay,
yeah. So like, it was, what's the word? It was really boring. I didn't really appreciate that the cat woman or whatever she was.
The rabbit girl.
Yeah, whatever she was. Yeah, it was just total. And plus, it was boring. I mean, whatever else I want to say about the art style, it was boring. Nothing happened in it. It was just like, oh, something dark side. It was basically like that episode of Family Guy, something dark side. It was basically that. It's just like, oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit fed up by this time. I had to solve. That was the longest of the episodes, by the way. That was 20 minutes. Some of the episodes were below 15 minutes, but that was the longest one at 20.
Well, you see that, but I thought the next one was really, really good. So
the last one, Akiri,
yeah. I thought it was really, really good.
It was good, but it also followed similar beats to some of the previous episodes. I didn't mind it too much. It had a dark ending as well, with this guy basically joining the Sith after having his friend come back to life. That was the price. But like I said, by this time I was like, fuck me, another Sith and Jedi episode, another one. It's like, come on, like.
Well, as I said, I think we're both going to start sounding like flaming Cheeto now. But yeah, as I said, I was with you. I mean, apart from number 2, which wasn't really about Jedi, it was about a shitty rock band.
And even then, that kid was a fucking Jedi, by the way. He was a Padawan Jedi.
Yeah, it wasn't what the episode was about.
No, I agree. That was different. I give it that. That's the only thing I give, is that it wasn't lightsabers and shit.
It was about a rock band. It's just that, like, when everything. I said, when everything's a Jedi, and the thing is that that's one thing I did like about the Mandalorian is that, like, the Jedi stuff was there, but it was kept special. It was like Grogu was a Jedi and was in touch with the Force and stuff like that, and now he's gone, and now we get to see what the Mandalorian's going to do next, which is always going to be awesome. I mean, I hope that they don't focus on him becoming a Jedi, that Grogu becoming a Jedi, but they probably will do that, which annoying. But yeah, but yeah, I thought that number 9 was great. Overall, I'm going to say the quality wasn't great for a 9-episode series. Out of the 9, I'd say 4, possibly 5 were good. The rest were rubbish.
I like Let's go up the list. The duel was excellent. I could see a series on that following this Ronin character. Yeah. Tatooine Rhapsody, I never want to see again. The twins, I'm not fussed about this one, tell you the truth. I'm fed up of twins, just generally in the Star Wars universe. But the duel what makes the duel so good is about a Sith, who's kind of a Sith who's not really a Sith, he's not really necessarily trying to be a good guy either, just doing what he thinks is right. He's not trying to be a Jedi. I find that all of those sort of things intertwined is pretty good. Village Bride, no, fuck that. So far I'm only on 1, but then the Ninth Jedi, I don't sure if I would. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because
it's excellent, and I think it's good as a one-off.
Yeah, thing. That's what I agree with you on, Bossman. As a one-off, it's pretty good. I'm not sure if I want to see a series on that. 2B1, no, I don't give a fuck. The Elder was okay, but once again, I think this was just good as a one-off. And so for me,
you missed out the last 2.
Yeah, the last 2. I was looking at the last 2. They didn't really do it for me either. I got very fatigued by the end. So for me, Bossman, when it comes to a series, I would like to see that with the duel. That would be good. And out of all of them, my favorite was the Ninth Jedi. And then after that, I didn't really give a fuck too much. The Elder was okay. Akikira was okay. Okay is not good enough, is it? So yeah. But look, this is the first season. In anything, it's never usually the best season. It can be the best season in many things. Sometimes sometimes a show needs to find itself. Now, these are individual episodes, so it's a bit weird in how a show like this finds itself. But I'm okay with experimentation. It doesn't always have to hit the mark. And for what it is, I'm happy they, we got Star Wars in some capacity, visualized differently, and I would like them to give it a shot again. I would never want them to stop trying this more anime Star Wars. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, but less Jedi, please. Less Jedi, less Sith, for sure. I want to see some space battles. I want to see some hustlers. I want to see some smugglers. I want to see stuff like that. I want to see some bounty hunters.
I want to see. Yeah, I agree with you. I want to see more shooting. I want to see more. Maybe like a Han Solo-esque, like sort of like. No, he's not necessarily a good guy, but he's sort of like he's a good guy, but he's got like a little bit of an edge to him, like Han Solo, or like like a Lando Calrissian or anything like that. I also would love to see more racist and human. I'd love to see. Again, I don't mind one of these. Like, if they had one of these, if it was like, let's say, for example, the duel, and then the rest of them
a pod race. I would like to see another pod race in a different planet, not on Tatooine, stuff like that.
Or maybe like, there's other sports like pod racing, like, maybe like there's like somebody who's like a massive gambler and he's like, somebody who gets himself into trouble with certain. Like, there's loads of like little clans and stuff like that they could have gone into, but everything apart from number 2 is about bloody Jedi fights. And number 2 is one of the worst ones. And again, I hate saying that because I want to applaud them for doing something unique.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm hoping. I mean, I hope they do this again next year. We get another batch of animated Star Wars shorts. I'm totally fine with that. Maybe they can do continuations of what we've seen already. Who knows? But keep it varied. That's all I'm saying. Keep it varied. Not and like all these studios need to communicate with each other. Say, okay, fine. If you're doing something to do with lightsabers, I'm going to do something to do with space battles. Okay, then I'm going to do something to do with the underworld, and I'm going to do something to do with bounty hunters. Just keep it varied. Maybe one could be more of a political one and stuff like that. Just keep it varied, and I'm sure us as fans will be a lot more happier. But I'll give this whole Star Wars Visions, I'll give it, unfortunately, I have to give it a 6 out of 10 as a whole, because it just not enough. For me, there was not as many good episodes as there were bad episodes, or the bad episodes, in my opinion, or the average episodes as well. I put them together, kind of outweighed anything that was good about this show. How about yourself?
I wish I could disagree with you. I wish I could, but I agree with you. Because again, I want to say that even the art styles I wasn't particularly a fan of. Obviously, there's talent behind it. So, and all these different studios obviously have talent. It's just that so there are art styles that appeal to me directly, and B, it just felt that they were telling not quite similar stories, because the Jill wasn't like anything else, but when you got 4 or 5 that were good, I mean, the thing is that just focus on quality and don't make it about Jedi stuff. Just make it about the Star Wars universe and just tell a good story.
Yeah, I agree. And with that, Gary, I think we're going to wrap this up. So anyone who's watching, let us know what you think. Leave some comments below regarding Visions. What was your favorite episodes? And all of that. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, not only to No Budget Productions, but also to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never fucking heard of. We'll see you guys later. Gary, I'll see you later as well, my friend. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
See you later.